Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Ruggiero, Vice President of Communications for Quilts Incorporated, and we've got another interview with one of our top winners from the 2024 Judge Show here. And here we've got Tania Tanti. Tania, how are you doing?
Hi, Bob. I'm very well, thank you.
All right, we
Thanks for having
now
me.
Tania's all the way in Australia, so there is a 17-hour time difference going on here, so we're able to get the schedules put together. Well, anyway, Tania won this year the Janome Master Award for Innovative Artistry. That's a $5,000 prize and was for the quilt called the Naughty Corner, which we have a little bit of a detail here. And I'll go ahead and read Tania's artist statement. She asked, do you ever have quilts that whisper to you after you've thrown them in the naughty corner? Well, this one just wouldn't stop. Thankfully, it didn't. It's as stubborn and persistent as its maker. This quilt embodies an honest flow of moving emotions, connections, and letting go again. And last but not least, it serves as a reminder to never give up. And Tania used machine quilting, a stationary machine, and a free motion on this. So, Tania, again, welcome and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Very excited to have won the award and very appreciative of the sponsors for the show.
Well, great. Well, tell us a little bit about the creative process in putting together this particular wonderful work behind me.
Okay, so it is a whole cloth and it is all painted with fabric paint. So that's the first part of the process. And then, of course, all the quilting and the many, many different colors of threads and thousands and hundreds of thousands of stitches that go together to put it together.
Now, in looking on your website where you've got a wonderful gallery of a lot of your work, there's a lot of quilts that have, I guess, what I call almost a psychedelic microscope effect, where it looks like something you would see through that, just in all these bold, bright, beautiful colors. So tell us a little bit how you kind of developed this particular style.
Well, it's really, it just evolved over time. It's like, when you grab your pen and you just do a bit of doodling on the paper. So that's part of, I guess, the painting process for me. I tend to grab the colors and look at one color, use one color, think it needs muck around with another color, add that in. And often, I'm not always using the same color. I'll go back to it later. So often I'm, mixing up another color the same later on. But it all comes together slowly and just enjoying the process.
And in choosing the colors of paint, I mean, you must be as good a customer at the paint craft store as you are the quilting store.
I am. And every time I start a new project, I keep thinking, oh, I must get some more of that. I must get some more of that. I'm never going to run out of paint, but I keep buying it as well because, you just keep on wanting to try lots of different colors. And I do like mixing my colors as well.
Yeah. Now, do you have any kind of a background in painting, or did you come to this wholly from the start?
Well, I did start studying fine art. I failed drawing and
Hmm.
dropped out. And but I guess that's part of never give up, keep going. But I do have a photography background. That's really why I was in my course. And I wasn't really much of a painter, actually. I liked printmaking, lino cuts, screen prints, that sort of thing. But I did pick up the paintbrush a few years ago and just started painting pieces of furniture and bits and pieces, some on canvas, and just got very inspired by even our great local artist Helen Godden, who paints on fabric as well.
Of course,
And
of course.
so I mean, she's a great inspiration as well, and just her approach and her attitude, and I knew I could do it as well, and I just thought, well, I'm just going to go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Helen is a wonderful artist. I've known her for many years, and also a
Yes.
very fun person, very fun person. So if you're
Yeah.
watching, Helen, hi. Now, when you think about all the quilts you've done, how does this one behind me, the Naughty Corner, how does it particularly stand out in your memory as opposed to maybe any of the other ones you've done?
Okay, so it is one of the bigger pieces that I've created. Um, and yeah, just a lot more involved. It's the other pieces that I created. I started with an exhibition. I actually decided in COVID to close my business and have an exhibition, and I just went from there. I just wanted to create quilts all the time. And so I started with that, and this piece is the bigger piece. And I just thought at the time, oh, yeah, I'll get through it, you know. And every quilt you start, you always think, yeah, you'll get it done really quickly, you know, no worries. And every time I'm making the quilt, and I say to my husband, oh gosh, I always forget how long it takes to make a quilt. So it did take a long time. And I had a few issues because as I like to quilt, sometimes I put a bit of paint on the back because I love to. I use the same cotton on the front as the back, and the backs can be really good fun to look at as well. And I added a bit of paint before I started quilting and during the process as well, just to see how it looked. And one of the paints I used, I didn't realize I'd bought this super cover screen printing stuff, and it made, you know, you need your fabric to flow really lovely through the machine, and it made the back of the fabric stick. It was getting, you know, stuck. And it freaked me out, and I didn't know what to do, and put talcum powder, you know, we were trying everything to try and just get it smoothly going
Like
through.
the quilting hospital going on there. So
Absolutely. So halfway through it, I actually cut out around some of the bits where I'd put that paint. I cut it out and I redid it. But before that, it absolutely 100% went in the naughty corner. I literally threw it. And I just thought, I just can't do it anymore. And, you know, because you're so invested in the piece, I really loved it, but I just couldn't get it flowing. And so it did stay there for a little while, pulled it out, cut the back off it, started redoing it, got overwhelmed again by how long it was taking, put it down again, but I eventually did, yeah, pick it up and
obviously the quilt speaks to your persistence as an artist above anything. So, now, I think the majority of people who are going to be watching this video will be US based quilters. So for you, what do you think are some of the biggest differences between quilting and quilting culture in the US as opposed to Australia from what you've seen?
yes. I think because we have such a younger background in quilting, so I think that there's a big difference just simply there in what we were exposed to by. I mean, my mother quilted and she had the little cornflake square, and then she would cut out all the squares from our clothes. That was her first quilt that she made. So it was just a basic blocks quilt. Whereas in America, you know, you've got such a rich history there, and incredible quilts that people just would have been exposed to growing up and seen and been aware of that we just weren't here in Australia. I think some of the first quilts I saw were Margaret Rolfe's cockatoos and, you know, Aussie birds and that sort of thing. So I think colour and approach to quilting is a little bit more open to interpretation of what you wanted to do. Maybe, I don't know. When you first begin quilting, I don't know. And colour, of course, makes a huge difference. I mean, you know, the sun shines different here, I guess, you know, in some ways. And, you know, yeah, just different flowers, different parts of the world. I often think of the Great Barrier Reef, you know, we've been scuba diving up there and it's just beautiful. So you just take in all the inspiration around you.
Yeah. You mentioned that you learned that your mother was a quilter as well. How much of that kind of knowledge did she pass along to you, and did she kind of push you toward quilting?
This is a funny story. So when I was, I think I was about 7, and my mum had her old Elna machine, and she sewed our clothes. And anyway, I broke it. And of
Oh,
course, she was devastated. And from then she said, Tanya's not a sewer. And I used to do the sewing at school, and, you know, I wasn't interested. But my sister was the sewer. She would sew all the clothes, and they started quilting years before I did, and all the rest. You know, wasn't overly interested. I did needlepoint, and I just thought I was no good at sewing. And we always laugh about it now because I've gone next level.
You're the famous sewist in the family.
So it's pretty funny, actually. We always have a giggle about that because we just never thought that I would sew like I do.
Great.
But yeah.
Well, and Tania, thank you so much for taking out the time to visit with us today. I guess my last question is, tell everyone watching what your current plans are, what your future plans are for any kind of quilting or creative endeavors, maybe over the next year or so.
Yeah, well, I usually only have about 1 or 2 quilts going at a time because I do like to finish them. But over the last few months, I've actually got quite a stack of a variety of quilts that I've got going on. So I don't just paint quilts; I piece them, I applique them. I do have a few different styles, I suppose, going on. So I really would love to just hone in and blend them all together. So that's the plan for the next 12 months. Whether I get there, who knows?
Well, it sounds like you've got nothing going on, no plans, no projects a year. It's pretty open for you. So that, well,
That's
Tanya,
it. Just
again,
lots of fun.
congratulations. The Naughty Corner, again, behind me, won the Janome Master Award for Innovative Artistry at this year's Judge Show. It was a $5,000 award. And congratulations again. And thank you for spending some time with us.
Thank you, Bob.